Hi, and welcome to the Knit Sips, a podcast by three yarn-obsessed sisters. I'm Julianne.
I'm Valerie.
And I'm Gloria.
And today we're going to talk about what's off our needles, what's on our needles, and what's in our dreams. So let's start with, has anyone finished anything this week?
I have not.
You have not? Glor?
I didn't finish anything, but I frogged something.
Okay.
Technically, it's off my needles.
All right, so what was it?
So I was making the Knights Who Say Knit, which was a mystery knit along by Lyrical Knits. I think it was 2 years ago, because I think after that she did the Princess Bride one.
Yeah.
So this was the Monty Python one. And I fell behind on it, and then it got to the point where like we saw the finished product and like I didn't love it. So it's kind of just been like languishing and I haven't been working on it. So
Yep.
I finally decided to frog it. So I was watching another podcast by Nitty Natty, the Love and Stitches podcast. And this was a while ago, like an episode she had a while ago. And she talked about like, don't feel bad about ripping things out that just aren't making you happy. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to just rip it out because I love the yarn. I love the yarn. And I think that was part of it. Like, I love the yarn, but I didn't love the finished product. So I was like, do I really want to use this yarn for something I'm not going to love?
Yep.
That's how I feel about mystery knit-alongs in general. I'm afraid to have
that's
really
why you
yarn.
gotta be really picky about what you're working on. So I want to show like a little bit of the yarn just really quick. This was my main color, which it looks like brown here, but it's like a dusty purple.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Miss Babs. It was a Miss Babs set that I got. And these are, I have headphones on today, so I can't move around as well. These were like a few of the contrast colors. So there's like a pink. This is like a lighter pink. This is a gold color, which is why I stayed away from gold for my Mountain Musings. So those were my contrast colors, but I have an idea of what I want to make with this yarn now. I want to make the Collins Tee by Laura Dobratz.
Very nice.
Is Emma's Yarn's mother. She owns the Four Pearls yarn store. So it's a t-shirt and it's got these stripes of the contrasting color. It's got a main color and then these stripes of contrast color. But so this is the the model picture that they use. I think that's one of her daughters in the picture. But there's another picture in the pattern here. Should have gotten it with like a much looser fit. I really like this version of it. So I think I'm gonna make it bigger. Like the original picture, I think she has like 2 inches of positive ease. So I think I'm just gonna make it like, I think my size would be like the size 2. I think I'll make like size 4 or something.
And you'll have enough yarn with the shawl kit?
Yeah, because these mini skeins are much bigger than the mini skeins that they use here.
Okay.
So I think
they're like 125 yards or something for those mini skeins instead of like the 92 yards or
right.
whatever.
Yeah, these are like, I think it's like 130 in the Miss Babs, and the Emma's Yarns ones are like 87 or something. So I think I should have plenty. And I have 2 skeins of the main color.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna like make it much bigger. And of course, obviously she added some length there too.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm gonna do with it.
Cool.
Eventually.
Yes.
So I'm still obsessed with knitting tops.
Yeah.
So I'm picking out all this yarn that I have that I could make shirts with.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah. So it's off my needles, but it's still not made into anything.
Yeah.
So that's all I have. Julie, do you have anything off your needles?
I have 2 things. First off,
Wow.
Gloria, does your husband watch the podcast?
No.
Okay, good. So these are for Gloria's husband for Christmas. These are a pair of vanilla socks. Again, I forgot my sock blockers. I am not doing well prepping for episodes lately.
They kind of look like tiger stripes, which is very appropriate. Was that intentional?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
So this is from Silver Key Stitches, who is a local indie dyer by me. And this base, oh my God, I love it. It's got silk in it, and I've never knit a silk blend for socks, but the yarn was very round. It was really just a really nice yarn to knit with. But the colorway is called Intergalactic Space Penguin, which is a porg from Star Wars, because she's not allowed to use any porg. So that's what she called it. So if you know Star Wars, this is very porg looking. They're like brown and they have like a white belly. They look like penguins, but a little different. So these are for him. So
He's gonna love them.
were
He
a
loves
fun
Star
knit.
Wars. And he
Yes.
has been hounding me for a pair of Chewbacca socks.
Oh,
So I think he'll like those a lot.
do you have a full skein of the Chewbacca mustache
Yeah.
yarn? You do.
I do.
And then I have another finished object. And I even like made a reel on our Instagram about this.
I saw that.
Oh yeah.
It was super fancy. So
Very nice. Ooh, I really like the
looks
contrast
great.
color. Yeah. The colors
yeah, the
look
two
good
colors together, they look awesome. This was a
So,
kit I got from
Your
my local yarn store.
lighter color. I think when you talked about the color on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, you said it was like bluish. It looks white there.
So it's like a very light, I don't even know if it's blue or if it's green. It's kind of like a blue with little green flecks in it that makes it look more green.
It
It's
looks,
kind
I see blue.
yeah. And then a brown. So this is Laine and Lotus Squish DK is the yarn. Which I saw on her Instagram, she started dyeing again. She had stopped dyeing for a long time. I think she took like a year off. This bluish green is called Birdhouse Dreams, and the contrasting brown is called You're the Reason. And this is a nice pretty lace, or I guess it's technically lace, some mosaic, these funky stitches that I had to actually go to my yarn store because she wrote the pattern and be like, how the hell do I do this? Because it made no sense to me. But she helped me and I got it in like 2 minutes. So I just wasn't reading it right. And then some more mosaic and then a little lace border. So
Very nice.
I was a little nervous when I first cast it off because I thought it looked really, really small, but it blocked out to a decent size and I can wear it like that.
Nice. It looks nice and drapey.
It is, it's very, I haven't done anything in like a DK weight in a while. And I forget how quick it knits up, but it's still like light and airy, like fingering weight, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm happy with it. I like it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made that really quick.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't done anything with like patterning lately. And it really held my attention. So, and now I feel like I'm in a slump again. Like, I think I need some more challenging knitting, but
Like maybe some patterned socks.
well, we'll talk about that.
She is
in-
making
on
pattern
my-
socks. We'll talk about those later.
Yeah, that will be on my needles. I can talk about me in pattern socks, but all right. So that's everything off my needles. So let's do some on our needles. Val, what are you working on?
I have a couple of things. I will give you an update on the socks I was working on last time. They are the Wood Nymph. So this is the stock. Wood Nymph by, I don't even know who they're by.
Something handmade. This Handmade Life,
Oh, it was it this Handmade by?
maybe.
Olivia Villarreal. I'm not sure what her website is.
I think it was This Handmade Life because I started following her after that and she keeps popping up. So
Okay, well, those are the socks, Wood Nymph. They have like a panel, a lace panel. I have made a tremendous amount of progress since last time. It's like just a couple more rows.
Yep.
Because I got distracted by shiny new things.
Yeah.
But I am still working on it. You can't really see the lace pattern all that well. You can't see the lace pattern all that well in person either.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of getting lost in my yarn. But it's just it was more to give me something to work on than to really be like a lace pattern, because I am, unlike Julie, not really a vanilla sock person. I like to have some kind of pattern to it. So they're being made for my daughter. And I know her girlfriend watches the podcast. I don't know if she does. Because I had said, if I made you guys socks, would you wear them? And she said, Sharon only wants socks if they're featured on the Knit Sips podcast. So there will be socks for Sharon at some point featured on the Knit Sips podcast.
I
That's
think
adorable.
for watching, she should get an extra pair.
Really?
She should. She's got like socks and a matching hat.
Yeah. And mittens.
And I have another pair of socks that I cast on because I am a follower. And I saw earlier in the pandemic, Gloria had sent Hue Loco chicken yarn to Julie and I. I love Hue Loco. I'm like obsessed with everything she dyes. I think her chicken yarns are so much fun. They're all named after like different chickens, like the colors of different kinds of chickens. We have a place by us where you could go and get breakfast sandwiches, and you could sit outside on the farm, like, and the chickens wander around while you eat. And I just love going there. And her yarn reminds me of that. It's called Kerber's Farm for anyone on Long Island. So Julie started working on the Chickenscratch socks. These are the Chickenscratch socks by Backwoods Knits. In her Hue Loco chicken yarn. So then I had to copy and pass on a pair. So these are mine. The main color, it comes in a sock set with a main color. And then mine is like browns and blues, and you get two coordinating minis. So this one, I think this one she calls pumpkin, and then this one is like a tan. I'm not sure what she called it. So the Chickenscratch socks are like super cushy. I'm really enjoying it. It's a 4-row repeat, and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 repeats incorrectly. I was doing, there's one row where you have to do knit through back loop, knit 1, knit 2 together, and I did knit through back loop, knit 1, knit through back loop. So it, like, you don't really see the texture the way that you're supposed to. But then I realized it, and it looks so much better, but I'm not ripping it out. But they're so squishy. I'm not sure how I'll use the contrasts. I think I'll do the cuff and the toe in the pumpkin, and then I'll do the heel in the beige. Yeah. And the pattern calls for a heel flap and gusset. I'm not sure if I'll swipe it out for a fish lips heel. I might keep it with the heel flap and gusset and do like a squishy slip stitch heel flap, just to make it like the whole thing super cushy. I didn't even look to see what kind of heel flap she does on this. She might even do a squishy heel flap. Yeah, it looks like it's some kind of a textured heel flap. So I might stick with that, just because I think it like fits.
Yeah.
I think the fish lips kiss heel on such a squishy sock might, like, the texture might not make sense altogether. Yeah. And then the third thing I have, this is the Mountain Musings Mystery Knit Along. I am in clue 1, 2, 3, 4. So she's already released clue 5. I have not finished clue 4. So anyone who doesn't want to see it, maybe fast forward a little bit. But this is what it looks like so far. I am so in love with it. I've talked about how happy I am with my colors. It's a Miss Fab set. And as I'm working on it, just getting like happier and happier with my colors. So
oh wow.
I absolutely love it.
That's awesome.
Good.
Isn't that pretty?
It's very pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, so clue 5 like just came out last night. So
I'm not done with clue 4 though.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it just came out. So like
it's not like you're super
that
far behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I am behind. So I loved this stitch.
Oh, I love that
This you had to like
yeah.
slip a stitch in front across like 3 stitches or 4 stitches or something, and then a couple of rows later you pick that stitch up and knit it, and it makes this diamond. Loved it. I loved this. They call this Fields of Daisies or something, wildflowers. I don't know, something to do with the flower. I really liked this. I loved doing the little lace panel. I really enjoy knitting lace. So this is, again, like it looks like a little flower. And then, so that, I think
Should I
this
show
is
mine
clue-
while we're doing spoilers?
Yeah, you could show
So-
yours at the same time. I think this was clue 4, this lace panel. And now we're doing this stitch that I don't like as much because I really have to pay attention to it. So you increase 7 stitches from one stitch, and then you don't decrease them all right away. You decrease with like knit together and slip knits on either side. So you really have to pay attention to what you're doing. So I'm struggling with that a little bit. And then there's one
I'm
more
almost
section
done
in
with
clue
it.
4. What?
I'm almost done with it.
With that section.
Oh, good. Yours looks really good.
Yeah. You can't like I mean mine doesn't
pretty
have any
big section.
contrast, but yeah, and
It is.
then
It's like 36
there's
rows or
1,
something.
2, 3, 4. This is the 5th row. There's one more. There's 6 rows of these. What does she call it? Bump in the road.
Rocky Road, she
Rocky
calls it.
roads. Yeah.
That section, not including, she does like 4 border rows at the beginning of that section and 2 border rows at the end of that section. So not including the border rows, it's a 36 row section. So it's a big section.
This is what mine
I like
looks
that.
It looks good. So are you happier with your colors now? I know you were feeling a little unsure.
I really like the colors. I really like the way it all looks together. You know, of course, I really like her patterns.
Yeah.
And I think it's working out very well, but I don't feel like the colors are me.
Oh, I totally think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I'm feeling like because I intentionally chose colors that were different from what I had.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, I just don't know if they're like me colors.
They're
Like-
giving a very beachy, sea glassy kind
Yeah,
of vibe.
and I'm thinking like these would have been perfect. This would have been perfect for Just Beachy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's very like, you know, it's very like muted colors, like soft colors. It's very low contrast, which I'm not really used to for something like this. But I like them. I never didn't like them. I just don't know if it's like if it's me.
Yeah.
I think it is. But I think it's so
I
interesting.
mean, I'm gonna keep it. Either way.
I think it's so interesting to see how different they look in
Yeah.
different, like this looks like a completely different.
Yeah. But you can like Val, yours is like all about the color, but Gloria's, I feel like the texture is jumping out a lot more at me. Like I don't notice the texture as much on Val's, but on Gloria's I do.
So this
They're both
is
very pretty
my
though.
little
Thank you.
diamond section here. I love that stitch too. But yeah, this like it's taking me a night to do like a repeat.
Yeah.
Like it takes a long because you're like, yeah, you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
So
And then after this is going to be a mosaic section. And then did you look at clue 5 yet?
yes.
So it doesn't, we don't go back to this yet. So I'm
No.
so
So
curious.
I think it is going to be like off center.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not
well,
gonna be
clearly, because I think there's only one more clue left
right.
after this.
What if the last clue is like repeat on the other side?
Repeat the whole thing.
Have at it for the next week.
And I'm using a Miss Bab set, and I'm really using a lot of my contrast color, which I'm happy about. So it looks like I'll be using up most of my yarn. I'm not into my second ball of my main color yet, but I am like getting my contrast colors are getting pretty small. So like this is my color 3. Like that's what I have left of
Um,
it.
I think she said color 3 is the one you use the most of, because I took a look at like her Ravelry discussion board. And somebody was so like, are we gonna be playing Yarn Chicken here? Like, I'm not really into that. And she was like, color 3 is the one you use the most of. But I think in clue 5, there's only a little bit of color 3 and then you're done with it.
Well, she also said that she built in a cushion of like 15%, like with the
Yeah.
Miss Bab sets. So we shouldn't, I'm not worried that I'll run out. I would like to use as much of it as possible.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. And clue 3 is my favorite color. So I'm happy to hear that we use the most of it.
Yeah.
All right, and
Um,
that's all I have on my needles. So that's all from me.
Okay, Gloria, do you want to finish what's on your needles?
Yeah, I'll just finish with my Mountain Musings is the Lavender Lune yarn in the Drift Away set. So yeah, I'm a little bit further into clue 4. So yeah, there's one more like mosaic section after this. And then it looks like clue 5 is all mosaic, which I really enjoy mosaic knitting. I think you get like the color work feel without having to do color work.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Yeah.
And
For me, it
then
depends. Like it really depends on what the mosaic pattern looks like. There's mosaic in here that like this whole section is mosaic and I liked it. But some of it I don't like.
what don't you like?
No, I like this. I like everything in Mountain Musings, but when it gets to
Oh.
be like too
But like
too
some
fussy,
some mosaic in general you don't like.
yes, some mosaic in
Well,
general.
yeah. I mean, yeah, some mosaic in general I don't like. Some color work I don't like either. So the other thing that I have been working on lately is I am making a Musselburgh hat.
I didn't know you cast that on.
So yeah, I started this a while ago and then it kind of went into hibernation. And it came back out because I am planning to go to Rhinebeck this year. So yes, I would like to go.
Okay.
Neither of you are going to come with me.
No.
So I asked my husband to come with me. And he like scoffed at me at first. And then I was saying something about Rhinebeck. And he was like, well, if we go, do we have to get tickets early? And I was like, if we go? So I think he's going to come with me. And he is now super excited to wear all of his hand knits at the same time at Rhinebeck. So he has
just layer them all up.
yeah. So he has a pair of Yoda socks, the mustache Yoda socks that he's gonna wear shorts so that he can, show off his socks. He has the Han Solo fingerless mitts that I just finished for him. So he's gonna wear those the whole day. And then I have the hat that I started this, a while ago. And I haven't really been working on because I started the socks and everything over the summer. So I said, oh, well, what if I finish your hat and then you can wear your hat too, because, you need a little bit more.
Yeah.
He's not a shawl person. I'm trying to convert him into wearing shawls. But I don't think he's going to.
Show him a Stephen West video. He'll be into it.
Yeah. Well, I told him if I don't like this year's Mystery Knit Along, he can wear it. So I picked it back up. So this is my Musselburgh hat. The yarn is Barnyard knits. I think Val talked about, she had a sale on like Misfit skeins. Val talked about it a couple weeks ago. I think it was like over the summer. She did a sale on Misfit skeins. So I got a set also, and this was one of the skeins in there. It's like I don't know if the color is coming up so well, but it's like a grass green.
Yeah.
Like a bright green, like a Kermit green almost.
Mhm.
And I was like, I didn't really like it. It wasn't my favorite. It came with like this and like a darker green, a fingering weight, darker green. It came with a DK weight, like it's like a pinkish color with greenish speckles. So, you know, they kind of coordinate. And then it came with a pink mohair.
Hmm.
So this color out of the 4 of them, I didn't really like all that much. The other ones I was like, oh, I can use these in something. So he said he liked it. So I was like, all right, I'll make you something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use it. So I started making him this hat, and then I didn't pick it up for a very long time. So I picked it back up, and I'm going to make this my 30 minutes of knitting. I put a little progress keeper on there. It's a little mushroom. I don't know where I
Cute.
got this from. And this, I put this in here. This is where it's attached on Sunday, like Sunday night. So this is the progress I've made since Sunday.
Nice.
So I think if I keep going at this pace, because we have about 2 weeks until Rhinebeck, I think I should be done.
Yeah.
I probably was not even that far into the hat. The one that I made for Georgie, my son, for Christmas, and I finished it like Christmas Eve night at the bed and breakfast. It'll go super fast once you get to the decreases.
Yeah.
It'll just fly off the needles.
So I have a question about measuring this thing. So I'm making like the medium, and I don't know if what size did you make for Georgie?
I'm gonna have to look back and see, but I actually started making a bigger size than I needed. So I had ripped back and made a smaller size. I think I was making him the large, and then I ripped back and made the medium. Did you measure his head?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
I
do
think
whatever size it says to do.
I think it was like between sizes, so I went down so that it would
Yeah,
stretch. Because this is really loose, because I'm using size 5 needles. Like a lot of people are making the Musselburgh hat right now, and they're all like, oh, I'm on size 3 needles. And I was like, it says to use like a few sizes larger than you would use for socks. And I'm like, most of my shawls that I make with fingering weight yarn, I use a 4 or 5.
Is
So
that fingering weight?
Yeah.
The
So I
needle
figured the 5 would be fine.
Yeah, the needle size shouldn't matter all that much as long as you're calculating it based on your gauge.
Right, but I'm saying
It'll stretch, yeah.
I went down a size because it's a loose gauge, because it stretches.
It'll stretch. Yeah.
Okay. So when you measure it, how do you measure it? Because like I put this down on the table to measure it, and like you can't because of the needle. So like, I don't want to pull it. Like, do I like straighten it out?
You're thinking too much
like,
about it.
It's
not that big of a deal. So
this is my type A personality. Like,
stop.
How do you measure it?
Stop.
Val, how do I just throw it to the wind?
you look at it and you say,
like,
you look at it and you say, I think that'll work, and then you just go with it.
But like, because you know, when you lay it down, like if I put it down to try to measure it, like I can't because the needles are in the way. But so, like, I don't want to pull
You're making it long enough. Are you making it long enough so he could fold up the brim and it can go over his ears? So it'll be like super quadrupled over his ears. So he's folding it up. It doesn't matter how long it is.
I want to make sure it's long enough. Like,
so put it on the table.
Enough.
Put it on the table.
Glor, take some advice from not Val, because Val, I mean, the fact that she even measured hers, I would be surprised if she didn't.
I measured gauge.
Yeah. I bet there was not another
miracle.
measurement after that. Just pick a side you're going to measure on and focus on that side and try not to think about what's going on the other side. So just lay it flat, smooth down as much as you can one side and measure it.
Right there, just take a measuring tape and just go.
So I wouldn't do it where the needles are. I would go on the other side where the cable is.
Okay.
Because the needles are going to be in the way.
Right. So then, but like, does it like?
So
do you do that, or do you do that?
Gloria,
like, you do the other way.
Do you do this?
You do that.
Okay.
You do that.
And like, I don't want to be like artificially making it too long, and then I bind off and it's not long enough for him to
right. So you have to roll it down, but try not to pull it when you're rolling.
Right. I'm trying,
and that'll be fine.
Okay. See, it wasn't a stupid question. It was legitimate. So I'm trying to finish it for Rhinebeck, which is October 15th and 16th. So we're probably going to go on Sunday early. to try to not have it be crowded.
Yeah.
And it is September 29th right now, so I have 2 weeks. And this is where I was 4 days ago. So I think I made a good amount of progress there in 4 days. So
You will absolutely have it done.
Yeah.
but then I'm going to get even further behind on my Mountain Musings. And the first Stephen West clue comes out next week. So
When does that come out? The 2nd, October 2nd?
the 6th.
Oh, the 6th. Okay, we have more time.
The
than I
2nd
thought.
is this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next week. Next
Okay.
a week from today.
It's
the first
exciting.
clue comes out. Yeah. So, and again, my knitting time has been significantly decreased recently. So I'm trying.
Yeah. And so is that it?
That's all I've been working on. I haven't been working on those socks for my mother-in-law. I think I showed them last time. I was on the heel flap. I think I'm not even done with the gusset yet. I haven't even gotten that far. So yeah, that's
All
it.
right. Well, I have like 2 things I've been working on because I finished that shawl and I haven't really picked anything else up yet because we'll see why in my dream section. But so I'm twinning with each of you today. So I have a Musselburgh on the needles too. So this is Green Mountain Spinnery, which is in Vermont, and it's the ragtime base, which is a DK weight, and the colorway is called Parker. So it started out with a yellow. It's kind of like made to look like a hand spun. It's a 2-ply with 2 different color plies. So it's kind of a gray running through. And then it went from yellow to green. It'll go to blue, maybe a little bit of purple in there, and then red and pink. So, and then I've got 2 skeins of it. The other one's a little bit different, but it was a little pink heavy. So I decided to go with the more green and blue one for Dad. So
Nice.
we'll see how much I need of the other one. Because so our father has an enormous head. I found out after I knit him a hat that was big, and he complains all the time that it like pops off the top of his head.
But he still wears it all the time.
I know, which is why I thought this would be a nice Christmas gift for him this year. But so I'm making the extra large, and we'll see. I figure he can fold it up more or something. I mean, they live in New Hampshire. It's cold. He goes outside. They have a barn that he works on cars in. So he'll have extra layers or something. It's more of a rusticy kind of wool. So I'm hoping he doesn't mind that. I don't know how he's going to do with that, but we'll see. But I like it so far.
Looks good.
Nice.
Gloria, did you keep your stitch markers in from the increases?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm putting these back in.
Right.
So I'm just leaving them here.
All right. I was worried that if I put them back in, they'd be like off a little bit. And then when I
Right.
put it inside, like I'd have the seam in the wrong place. So
Right.
I just kept them in. So that's one project. My other project is the one that Val was saying inspired her to cast on her Chickenscratch. So these are my
Well, and I
Chickenscratch.
talked about the Chickenscratch a while ago, because I have plans to make a Chickenscratch.
Yeah.
You should do
Haven't
it
made
now.
Do
Well,
you have the chicken yarn too?
No, I didn't
Oh.
get one for myself. Those
Yeah.
were kind of expensive.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
So I did not get one for myself.
That's why I
normally
only have the
would,
one
but I did not
set.
get one for myself. I just got them for you guys. But no, one of the Emma's yarns sock sets that I have, I want to make the Chickenscratch socks with.
Yeah. So mine was the Golden Comet is the name of the colorway. This is my main skein. It's blowing out just a little bit. It's oranges and greens and blues and very pretty. And then my 2 contrasting skeins were called Sage and Pear. And I had cast on and I had done a 1x1 twisted rib, and I was not thinking of the Chickenscratch socks until I saw someone post one on Instagram, and I was like, I'm using backyard chicken yarn. I should really use the Chickenscratch because you know me, I love a theme. but this didn't match because for the Chickenscratch, you start with like a 3x2 rib, and then the first line of the pattern goes into this 3x2 rib. So the 1x1, it just wouldn't have looked good. So, but it's 1x1 twisted rib, and I could not
You cannot waste that.
stomach ripping this out. So I think it was Val had the idea of save it and then use the other one. So it was going to be blue on the top. Blue is my cuff, which I would have preferred, but whatever.
No, I think the green looks great.
Yeah.
I think the green was a good move.
It's growing on me. So so the green's going to be my cuff and toes, and then the blue will be my heel. And unlike Val, I am going to do a fish lips kiss heel because the bottom's going to be plain stockinette anyway. I'm not going to do this pattern on the bottom of the foot, so whatever. But
I'm gonna have a squishy heel, I think.
you can go have a squishy heel. These might wind up going to Mom, so she's not going to care what kind of heel she gets. But I am not enjoying doing a pattern sock at all. It's like so much concentration, especially like the first row of the pattern. So it's a 4-row pattern repeat, and the first row you have to like pull up extra yarn to make these loopy stitches here. And I'm a picker, and it's just really hard to do that and have it be consistent. So it's been really kind of frustrating, but I'm trying to do a little bit each day and just get a little bit worked on it, but I haven't been able to knit in days, which is kind of sad. So it'll get done. There's no rush on it. It's not a gift for anyone or anything like that. So I'm just kind of getting work done. And then I have some other stuff that I don't think I've put any work on in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So I'm not even going to talk about them. So that's it for what's on my needles. Okay, so next up is our In Your Dreams. So, Gloria, we already heard about your t-shirt. Did you have anything else that you're dreaming of knitting or yarn made that will eventually become something?
Well, of course, the Stephen West MKAL. I got my yarn. Should I show it?
Sure.
Should I show my yarn? Okay. So yeah, so I have my yarn. I have it in a bag. The bag is from Fate's Thread. She had a sale. I think it was like her birthday week. She had a sale, and it was like every day of the week was like a different size bag was on sale. And I absolutely love the jumbo bag. It is so big. I have another one that is like, it looks like crocheted like granny squares. I have something in it right now. But I love this jumbo size bag. It's great. So I got this, and see if I can find my yarn in here.
Climb in there and find it.
Okay, so these are my colors.
Oh, it's even like wound up and everything.
Yeah, I'm ready. So this is my main color, contrast color. This is from Miss Babs, and the gray is called Fleur de Sel or something like that. Let's see. Fleur de Sel, yeah, Fleur de Sel. You're not gonna be able to see that. Is my gray. The bluish color is called Watery Tart. And then my pop of color is this like rust color, and that is called Paprika. Say it
Very
now,
nice.
Julie. Ooh, paprika.
Ooh, paprika.
Remember? So these are my colors for Stephen West.
Very
So
nice.
these also, like, again, I chose something that I don't really have much of. And I'm not sure if they're me colors. Like, looking at them like this together, I feel like they are.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was just having this moment of like unsure of all my colors that I picked, and like, I don't know. I don't know how much people want to know about our personal lives, but I just started a doctorate program, and like, I'm having a rough time.
Life is hard.
Yeah, so I was having a really tough, like, I was questioning all of my life decisions a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work out, but I really like these colors. I really like them. And again, I went for something
So
that I don't have a lot of already. So
while you're showing that, can I show my colors since they're like
yeah,
almost the same?
did you get them already?
No,
Oh,
but let
okay,
me see if I can get it on here. Kind of see there. It's like a blue, a gray, and a rusty orange.
yeah.
So it's
Yours look
basically
a
the same
little.
colors as Gloria.
Yours look like a shade darker. Like everything is a shade darker than mine.
Uh yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And I think my rusty is more like
Brown.
honey
Oh,
kind of.
really?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see when it gets
Like a coppery color?
here. Yeah, maybe. So I ordered mine from Homespun House and I got notification that it shipped, but it didn't include anything so I could track it. So,
Yeah.
and
I
unfortunately I've had things disappear from her before. I mean, they were great and they resent something, but I've had it get lost in the mail on like before it's made it to America. So I'm a little concerned. Either way, I don't think I'm gonna have it in time to start when it actually on October 6th. I'm probably gonna be a couple weeks
right.
behind, just waiting for the yarn.
Yeah.
So sorry to hijack that. Go ahead, Gloria. What else
Yeah,
is
no.
in your
I
dreams?
did I made well, I really want to make the Lace and Fade Boxy by Joji Locatelli.
Uh-huh.
And I bought a kit. I showed that when I had first gotten it, and I am like dying to make it, but I'm like, I have these two MKALs already, and I need to finish. I'm making it a tune shawl too, and I need to finish that so that I can use those needles. I need those needles. Um, but I haven't been able to work on it because now I'm behind on the MKAL. Like I was working on it in between the MKAL clues, but now I'm
Mhm.
behind, so I don't really have time. Um, but like I want to make that so bad. Like
Yeah.
I just wore a pair of pants to work yesterday, and they're like this light brown color. And I was like, oh my God, these pants will look so good with the lace and fade boxy in the pink colors with the brown pants. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
gonna look so good. But I need to free up some needles.
Yeah.
Because I'm on a needle buying ban too, which
Yeah.
I'm sticking to better than my yarn buying ban. So I'm like I'm like obsessed with it. Like I'm following the hashtag on Instagram and I'm looking at everybody's
Yeah.
but I have to gauge swatch in the round for that.
Mhm.
And I just want to do it already. But I need the needles.
See, this is why I don't gauge swatch.
Well, if you're making a garment, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
And I did make one purchase. I bought 2 mini skein sets from Polka Dot Creek. Recently I've been obsessed with Polka Dot Creek.
I love
I
their
don't
stuff.
know.
I
I
have
don't know why all of a sudden I'm like obsessed with Polka Dot Creek. So they just started a podcast too.
oh really?
So yeah, which it's like it's cute. It's cute. They're cute. They're cute. I like them.
I'll have to
It's
look it up.
yeah. They had one episode where like they just showed like a bunch of stuff that they made with Polka Dot Creek yarn, and I was like, I need to buy all the Polka Dot Creek yarn now.
I have like
So
probably 4 of their sock sets, I
yeah,
think.
you gave me one.
Probably.
I think you won it in a contest and you gave it to me. So I bought 2 mini skein sets because they had a sale this past week. It was a buy one, get one half off on their mini skein sets. And I was watching CozyUp Knits, and they talk about Polka Dot Creek all the time. So they have these like seasons mini skein sets. So I got a fall set and a winter set. And I got the DK weight mini skeins, which I do not have a lot of DK weight. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to buy something, I'm going to enhance my DK weight stash because I want to make something that is DK weight. So I want to add these mini skeins into that. And what I want to make with it is the Penguono jacket, cardigan, whatever you want to call it. I want to make one of those. So I'm
Yeah.
going to put all these mini skeins into my collection of yarn for my Penguono.
Nice.
So yeah, so I'm now like obsessed with Penguono. And and when I wound up the yarn for my MKAL, for the Stephen West MKAL, I wound up the hand spun yarn that Val gave me for Christmas
Uh-huh.
because I don't know what weight it is. Yeah, so I was like, well, since I have the winder out, since I have the Swift and the winder out, I said, let me wind it up so I can do my wraps per inch.
Yeah.
And I did wraps per inch, and I determined that it is a sport weight.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is for the back panel of the Penguono, I'm going to use the hand spun that Val gave me because it's like a pink and a gold. And I'm going to hold it with the one strand of the pink mohair that I got from the Barnyard
Knits.
Misfit set. So I'm going to use that one skein of that pink mohair held with the hand spun for the back panel. And then I have that pink and green DK weight. And I have the green fingering weight, which I'll hold with another strand of fingering weight. And I'll use, my color scheme is going to be like pink and green.
Yeah.
And gold and maybe some like purples in there.
Okay.
So that's the like color scheme that I'm going for. But then I just bought these 2 mini skein sets that they'll fit in there. Fall and
Yeah.
winter, I feel like will fit in with pink and purples
Yeah.
and greens. So
You can have some pops of color,
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
So yeah, that's my dreams right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Val, you have anything in your dreams?
I do. So I'm also doing the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. So I just wanted to show my yarn for that. Although I'm still not completely set on what I'm using. So I didn't want to buy one of the kits because I didn't want to spend that much money on something I wasn't sure if I was going to like. So I ordered from Webs, but because I was ordering from Webs, it was a lot less expensive. And I did the Valley Yarns Charlemont. So it's a superwash merino silk and polyamide, like a nylon. And you get a Webs discount. So because of that, I ordered
Love that Webs discount.
yarn that I needed. And this one too, green. So I have 2 green, 2 dark gray, 2 light gray, and a yellow. So initially I was going to do gray, green, and yellow, right? So that was going to be my shawl, main color, contrast color, and that would be my pop of color. But I might go like this now and do gray, gray, yellow.
I like that.
I like that. It's reading very blue, but I know it's not blue.
It's not blue.
But
It
I
might
like
be
that.
looking blue because I'm wearing a blue.
Yeah, it doesn't look, I don't see it as blue. It looks like 2
Okay.
grays. Yeah.
So that might be it.
I'm all about the Grello, so.
And I do like the green, but I feel like this doesn't give it a pop. I feel
No,
like
the
the yellow
yellow
gives
is better. Yellow's better.
But then that'll leave me with 2 silky, like I can make socks out of these
Oh
now.
no,
Like
what am I gonna
silky-
do with 2 skeins of yarn?
I'll find something.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do it as like a, an experience. I watched his Shawl music video with
Shawl
our
after
mom,
shawl.
and she was dying laughing. It was hilarious. So I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch the videos. I've never done one of his mystery knit alongs before, so I'm looking forward to that. I also want to make this popped up on someone's Instagram account. I don't usually knit with DK weight. I don't know why. It's just not what's called for usually. But someone made the Granny Go Round jumper. Let me pull that up, see if you could see it. By Iron Lamb. So it's a crocheted like granny square jumper.
Like granny stripe blanket.
Yeah, in DK weight, but it also has a cardigan version. So I might make the cardigan version. I have been purchasing, I've been a little out of control lately. I've been purchasing patterns and embroidery kits and embroidery patterns and yarn. And I'm like, I'm so overwhelmed by everything I own. And then I order a bunch more stuff. So I was looking for a skein of yarn the other day. I think it's when I went to pull out the backyard chicken yarn. And I realized that I had like 6 shawls worth of yarn, like together with a pattern all ready to go, sitting in my chest. And I'm not doing anything with them. So I feel like I need to stop planning for things that I don't have the yarn for already, and I need to start working on things that I do have the yarn for. But that's
It's not fun.
It's not
I
as
know, and I
exciting.
already have all of these other purchases planned. Like we went,
I know.
Julie mentioned to one of my friends the other day that I would knit her socks. So now I'm like, well, now I need to buy yarn for that. So
I'm sure you have something in your stash you can
Yes, I'm
use.
sure you have a skein of sock yarn. that you can
nothing,
use to make socks for
nothing
your
in
friends.
my stash looks like her. So none of it seems right.
Yeah.
So I'm having a problem. And I'm also planning on ordering when Hugh Loco does her November mini set. I'm gonna order that because that's my birthday month. No clue what I'm gonna make with it. I had spun that like beautiful like yak silk yarn. I'm like, oh, this is so luxurious, and I need to make something special with it. It's just sitting in my stash. So I really need to stop buying new things.
I feel like I need to work down my stash so that when I do buy stuff, I can cast it on right away when I'm super excited about it. And I don't have like a pile of other stuff waiting to be done.
Yeah.
But
That
that's never gonna happen.
you know, not to sound like obsessed with Nitty Natty either, but that was something that she's doing. She is like the year like 2022, her goal was to like eliminate stash so
Mhm.
that like when a new pattern comes out and it's like super exciting and all that, like you can buy the yarn that you want to use for that project
Yeah.
and you know not feel like you have all these other things sitting around. So
I think I'm gonna
but-
adopt that goal.
at this point, it's going to take me a lifetime to work through what I have already. So
Yeah, I would never be able to buy anything new ever again, especially because I keep creating new yarn in my spinning.
right.
I think we would work through our stuff pretty quickly if we didn't buy other stuff and get distracted.
Probably.
I think
so.
you're underestimating what we own.
I don't think so.
I got rid of a lot.
I probably this shelf behind me is like a quarter less than like it's like a sixth of what I own, and that probably has 6 shawls worth right in there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I'm just referring to the chest that I have that I was going through. I have bins in my basement. I have storage bags under my bed. I have a second chest in my bedroom. I have yarn all over the place. I'm like a step away from putting it in the oven.
Yeah.
So I need to stop buying new things. But I mean, I am gonna buy the Ingle Nook
And then-
special spinning bats when those are released on Saturday.
You have to.
I mean, I am going to Rhinebeck this year. So so I mean, like after October 15th.
Chance I would go to Rhinebeck if I wasn't going to Niagara Falls with my son.
but then like 2 weeks after that, Gloria, starts the birthday month for you too. So, you know, there's no restrictions during birthday month. We all know that.
Yeah, but I mean, I really can't spend money the way I've been spending money. So
Yeah.
Me neither, but I am.
I know, but
Yeah.
I actually have to spend my money on something else right now.
Damn school bills.
I just took off.
Higher education.
Yeah, I just took out loans that I'll be spending.
Yeah,
you know, for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all you're dreaming of, Val?
Yeah, I think so. I think I need to. Yeah. That's it.
Okay. So now that we all talked about how we're not going to buy anything anymore, I'll show off my latest purchase. And this is going to crinkle, and I hate when podcasters crinkle, but So the yarn is a Hue Loco mini set, and they're not individually labeled, and there's just like a sticker on the label that says like what they are from left to right. And so I can't mess it up. So I'm sorry that it's crinkling. I'll just hold it up for a second. Hold on.
That's not better. Oh, there
Is
you
that
go.
better?
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
good. That's
yeah.
good. Very
So this
nice.
is the Hocus Pocus mini skein set.
Okay, now with the light on, hold it up the way you were holding it before, because I think we'll be able to see.
Yeah, that's
there you
better.
go. Yeah, that's good. Oh, ooh, that's nice. Yeah,
I know, right?
yeah.
So, and they're like, so it's themed, which is what I'm all about. They're named after like some of the characters, some of the other things. There's like a black flame candle one that I actually got a full skein of, and it's absolutely my favorite. And it's this one here that's like coppery and blues, and I love that. So I'm trying to think of what to do with it. It's going to be a cowl. I just haven't decided exactly what yet, but I saw one person, I'm not even going to try and bring it up on my phone because I'll never find it, but one person had done an Inclinations cowl by Andrea Mowry out of the March set. I don't know if it was the flowers or the gemstones, one of her birthday month type things, I think. But the Inclination shawl or cowl calls for sport weight. And I was looking online, and a lot of people are doing it in fingering weight. And some people are doing it just plain fingering weight. Some people are doing fingering weight held double. And
I feel like fingering weight held double is not sport weight though.
No, it's DK.
Right.
And sport weight is between fingering and DK, right?
Yeah.
Or is it bigger than DK?
No, it's smaller.
No, it's smaller.
Smaller. So,
I feel like
so
fingering double is even bigger than DK. I feel like fingering double is like a lot.
it's DK. It's DK.
It's DK. Yeah, it's DK. Yeah. But I feel like, depending on the size of the sport weight, like fingering to sport is not that much of a difference.
Yeah,
No,
that's it.
So
That's what I'm hoping is I'm gonna do some more like looking around and seeing on Ravelry what other people like needle size and stuff, what they used. But so the Inclination shawl or cowl, I keep wanting to say shawl. I think there's a shawl pattern too. But the Inclination cowl is fisherman's rib, which is what you guys did on the Attune, right?
yes.
It's a pain in the butt.
I think
Not my favorite. Well, the way that I knit,
fisherman's rib.
yeah, so it's a 1x1 rib. And it's like you knit into the stitch below.
Uh-huh.
Is what fisherman's rib is. I think, I don't know. But like 1x1.
What's going on back there?
He's tired. It's 8:30. It's getting close to bedtime for him.
The way that I knit 1x1 rib is just really annoying to do, period. So
Are you a
found
picker or a thrower?
I'm a thrower.
Okay.
So I found it to be very
Tedious.
I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because 1x1 rib is really hard for me.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't have an issue with it, and I guess I'm a picker. I knit continental.
I don't know how picker and thrower lines up to
what's
continental
what.
in English.
Yeah.
I have my needle in this hand, and I have my yarn around this finger, and I just
And you're picking up the yarn with your needle.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I throw it. I do this. Oh my god, he's like doing it on purpose now.
like we're not gonna notice the big. He was camouflaged.
It's his cloak of invisibility.
Oh my goodness. All right. So no, I can't edit you out, buddy.
All right. So you're thinking you're gonna do an Inclinations cowl.
I think so. I just need to figure out like so I guess it's 2-color, right? Is fisherman's rib 2-color?
Yeah.
Or could be, I don't know. So
this is 2 colors because you're although it was done with 2-color brioche, like this is my attune, and it's fisherman's rib on one side and then it's brioche on the other.
Yeah.
But
Which I can't tell the difference between from here. So
yeah, they do look pretty similar.
yeah.
You can see.
But I think I need to figure out if I want them both switching at the same time, the 2 colors, or if I want to offset it. So that like like I'll do like half of the first mini skein and as like color A, and color B will be a full mini skein. And then when I run out of that half, switch to another color. And
Right.
So the way that, I don't know how Inclinations is written, but the way that Attune is written, you're using more of one color than the other. So they might, even if you start them at the same time, at the same point, you might not run out at the same time. So it might naturally offset itself.
okay. That's good to know.
I
Yeah, the
think
one
the
person who
purchase-
did it in Hugh Loco mini skein set, she didn't put any notes, which
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
instead
don't
of-
even put my stuff in Ravelry, so I shouldn't judge, but like
I
I would love some notes.
I'm trying to put stuff in Ravelry just because I don't use any kind of journal or anything like that. So I'm trying to just have an idea of what I made and when I
Mhm.
made it. But I think it would probably be pretty easy to just modify the stitch count.
Yeah, so a couple people said, so I have to look at, I didn't buy the pattern yet or anything, but I saw one person say that they just increased the amount of rows until they got to a certain measurement. So I
Mhm.
think it goes by measurement. I don't even know if it goes by rows, so we'll see. But
And
speaking of,
a lot of people make her patterns in handspun, so
I
I'm
know.
sure there are modifications all over the place.
yeah, I was just listening to Wool and Spinning, who's another podcast, and she was just talking about how good Andrea Mowry patterns are for working on handspun. So
Yeah, I just bought a whole bunch of her patterns.
yeah. So speaking of like keeping a journal or something, I've actually kept up with my craft journal for the year and like keeping track of my projects and a picture and a sample of the yarn and everything.
I don't
And I
even print
add-
out pictures of my kids.
I don't print out pictures of anything else, just my knitting projects. They probably think I'm super weird at CVS. But I put in the shawl, which is my last finished object, and I am up to finished object number 24 for the year.
That's nice.
Wow.
Like this is making me feel really accomplished to be able to see
Yeah.
that I've actually done, like because I look at it and I don't think I've done much. I mean, yeah, probably 3/4 of it is socks, but you know, it's still pretty cool to know that I did 24 projects so far this year.
Yeah.
So I just looked to see if I have the Inclinations cowl to like give you some feedback about construction, and I don't. I have the shawl.
Yeah, that's all right. I was gonna buy it later, and because I've got to get ready because I have to cast this on September 30th when Hocus Pocus 2 comes out. So
I
need to
have.
do some planning.
That's
I
like
can't watch-
tomorrow.
Yeah, it is tomorrow.
Seriously?
It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
So I have Hocus Pocus 2 to
Yeah.
read, and I haven't gotten to it yet, so I'm not going to be able to.
Like you haven't even started it?
No, I mean I started it when I first bought it a
Yeah.
couple of years ago.
But you can skip, so like I think it's 2 stories in one.
I
is that
believe
right?
so. I think it's like
So-
Hocus Pocus and the
Right.
sequel.
So just skip to the sequel. Hocus Pocus is the movie. You've seen it already a million times. Just skip to the sequel and read that.
Okay.
And then you can go watch the movie.
But I can't do that until I read Beartown.
Yeah, I'm trying to emotionally prepare myself for reading Beartown or The Winners. I
Get
don't
ready.
know. I opened it up. So Val and I went to the Frederick Bachman author event in Chappaqua, New York.
Gigantic.
It's like 670 pages, I think.
It is. Let me tell you exactly how big it is. 670 exactly.
Yeah. So he's my favorite living author. This Beartown is my number 2 book ever. The series will by far be
What's
my
number
favorite
1?
series. Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I got to be a little basic sometimes. But this series will by far be my favorite series I've ever read in my life.
Absolutely.
I am not ready to say goodbye to Beartown yet.
And I love him
Oh.
even more after. So I've seen him in author talks before, when he talks about anxious people, but hearing him talk about Beartown and like his own anxiety and all of that stuff, like I just love him that much more. Like he's so good.
Yeah. And then while we're at the event, Val opens it up and reads the first page and she's like, I'm gonna cry, and closes it. So when I got home, I read the first page and I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. I'm really not. I just finished, I re-listened to, because I have them on audiobook too. I just re-listened to the first two and I wanted to start the third one, but I'm not ready.
So I requested this on audio back in April. So when we left the Performing Arts Center for the book event, I got an email saying the audiobook was in. So I have this on audio, but I'm reading it. So I'm only up to page 79. But I want to read it and then listen to it on audio, but it's the same narrator. So
good.
Yeah, she does such a good job.
Yeah. I have not this weekend, but next weekend, the little blue monster who came in is going on like a 4-day canoe trip with his Boy Scout troop. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll take that 4 days and like settle in and just plow through the book and be able to be all emotional and sad and whatever. But then my daughter wanted to have a sleepover because it's one of the Beatles' birthdays. So she wants to have a birthday party for one of the Beatles.
Well, she's pretty self-sufficient. She's old enough.
Yeah, but if she has friends over, I can't be like sitting in the den crying because of whatever, so.
I would.
We'll
But
see.
my husband is, he races on sailboats. So he has a race on Saturday, and it's a race that I usually go to the after party for, because it's a really nice party. It's at the Vanderbilt Planetarium. It's right on the water. It's really a nice night. But we're supposed to get rain from Hurricane Ian. So I'm like, is it okay if I skip the after party? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. No big deal. So I plan on spending a significant amount of time sitting on the couch crying.
Yeah.
So it's going to be incredibly a very emotional book.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's all I have. Anyone else have anything they want to share? No? Okay.
That's it.
Well, then I think that's it for this week. And we'll be back in hopefully 2 weeks. We've been a little sporadic lately. I'm having trouble adjusting to the back to school schedule and hockey and all the kid activities. And I'm the taxi driver. So, and Gloria's got school now. So our schedules are a little crazier, but we'll try and be back in 2 weeks. So until then, happy knitting.
Happy knitting. Bye.